Hello everybody and welcome to the MerwinMusic YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use some DIY radius gauges to adjust the bridge on this electric guitar. Okay, so here I have this MIDI guitar that I made in an earlier video, and I gave it a real quick setup after I made it just to make it playable, but now it's time to make it play well. A good guitar setup is all about balance. So you want to jump around from the bridge adjustments to the neck and the nut and make sure everything is where it should be. That said, there is a lot to cover in setting up a guitar, so I'm just going to focus on adjusting the bridge. Now when I put this guitar back together, I mixed up the saddles. There are different lengths of screws for the saddles so that they sit relatively flush with the top of the saddles when the string height is set to match the radius of the fretboard. So I'm going to rearrange these real quick so my tallest screws are in the middle, and then I'll come back when I am done. Okay, so there are three things that we want to adjust at the bridge: the string radius, the string height, and the intonation. We adjust the intonation by moving the saddles back and forth with these screws right here, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. So we want to focus on the string height and radius. In order to set my string height, I'm going to put a capo on the first fret to eliminate my nut from the equation, and then I'm going to shoot for about 2 millimeters or 5/64 inches at the 17th fret. Now when we take these measurements, you want to have the guitar in your lap in playing position, since obviously we want it to play well how you would play it, not play well on its back on a bench like this. But I'm going to leave it here because it is easier to film. Now to measure this, I'm going to use a stack of feeler gauges. Unfortunately, the DIY gauges that I made in a previous video only go up to 1.35 millimeters, so they aren't thick enough for this measurement. You could build bigger gauges out of bass strings or something like that, but the size difference from string to string is pretty big. So I think a better option, if you don't have feeler gauges, is to use a 5/64 drill bit. Now to check the radius, we want to use a radius gauge. If you don't have a set of these, there is a free template that you can download and print out in the description below. And then I would recommend gluing them to some cardstock like a cereal box, or in this case a pizza box. So once we have our gauge, we can measure what the radius is off of the fretboard, which is easiest to do when there are no strings on the guitar. And then we can set the bridge radius to match. Okay, so when I'm setting the string height and radius, I like to first check my string height with my outer two strings, my 1st and 6th E string. And once I have those right, it kind of sets how that curve should be down at this end. And then I kind of skip back and forth, seeing if the height is correct there and it matches up with my radius gauge over here. And we can see right now with either the feeler gauge or my drill bit feeler gauge that this B string is a little bit low. So that is lifting up the string in order to fit in there, which means that string is a little bit low. And I can verify that with my radius gauge over here. And I can see that that B string does not match up with that curve, so I know that B string needs to come up. And to do that, I can twist these adjustment screws right here. Once all of that is good and set up, then the guitar is one step closer to playing great. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and saw how easy it is to make adjustments to the bridge of your guitar. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, but otherwise don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day.